Tanager is here for children, teens, young adults, and families as they navigate the many stressors of the world today. Tanager inspires, empowers, and heals by providing tools and support needed to navigate the hardships of life and overcome obstacles. Our expertise and specialty trainings offer a wide range of approaches, and we'll join alongside you to create solutions to enhance your wellness. We are here for you and your family. Tanager, inspire, empower, heal.
Tanager and the Meraki Institute of Learning proudly present Together We Rise,
a series based on the Rise, Wellness, and Resilience framework.
In times of uncertainty and adversity, it is easy to feel overwhelmed and disheartened.
Amidst the challenges our community may face,
let us never lose sight of the strength and resilience that also resides in our neighborhoods.
This series highlights the vital role each of us have in nurturing that resilience.
That community impact.
The power and influence each of us have to show up in spaces
with empathy,
openness,
and kindness.
Because it is in this collective that connections grow stronger,
our compassion shines brighter,
and our spirit rises even higher.
It is together
that we rise.
Welcome back for another episode of Together We Rise with your co-host here, Tanya,
Opara,
and our special guest today I'm incredibly excited to introduce is Parmod. Parmod, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Tanya.
Yes.
And thank you, Opara. I'm so grateful to be here with both of you and the audience that you have invited here for this conversation. As Tanya said, my name is Parmod Dwivedi, and I'm health director here in this community, Linn County Public Health. I provide services as a public servant to make sure that our community partners, neighbors, everybody is healthy and well and safe in our community. We respond to foodborne outbreaks, we respond to COVID-like pandemic, we respond to injuries-related activities, chronic diseases, infectious diseases, whatever we have in the community that relates to our health. We are there for our neighbors to make sure that they are protected, they are healthy, and they have a place where they can, connect with regard to their health. I'm an immigrant. I moved here way back in 1991 to go to school at the University of Iowa, learned, a thing or two about public health. I also studied social work, completed my education in preventive medicine and environmental health. I hold a doctorate in public health as well. And I have obviously, wife and two grown kids. Enjoy living in Linn County in Cedar Rapids and like to connect with my neighbors, all the folks that we deeply care, and it's a place where we feel we belong and we cherish and we enjoy life together.
Well, Parmod, I'm so excited. There's several things you said within even your introduction that I'm like, let's talk about that. What's it mean to be a neighbor? What's it mean to, but bigger question, a Hawkeye fan, right?
Yes, I am. University of Iowa. Go Hawks!
Go Hawks, that's right. Parmod, you and I chatted before today, just talking in general about wellness and resilience and just the importance of a community that's centered around the value of those things. Tell us a little bit about, through your journey and your role, the importance of that and how you see that play out every day.
So wellness is not just physical wellness, it's also mental wellness. We are not well until those two things are well. And there is a very serious connection or connectivity between mind and body. Yeah. So if mind is suffering, then body is suffering. If body is suffering, mind is suffering. So it's a really an approach which is holistic, and that's how we look at the overall health in our community. Wellness is also a phenomenon where we feel connected, right? If we are not connected, we are isolated, then that's also a problem. We talk a lot about in our community that, is it a place of belonging when we are alone, When we are isolated, do we have somebody to talk to, somebody who has our welfare in mind? Government is one thing, but also, government provides services, all kinds of services, but are our neighbors, our people that we live with, are they all also helpful to us? I mean, that makes community, that makes well-being, connectivity, a place which is joyous, which is enjoyable, which we can cherish. When we have kids, young kids, we would like to provide a good environment. And I think our community does that. We feel that it takes care of ourselves, and our neighbors certainly do that. So those are some of the things that I can share with you.
Yeah. I love all of those things. Opara, this makes me think of something that you talk a lot about when Parmod talks about isolation, the loneliness, and how our experiences shape who we are. It shapes our wellness.
Yeah, absolutely. And just that sense of belonging. It's so interesting. We talked not that long ago just about a sense of belonging, and I get to participate on one of your committees. And I think that one of the challenges I think that we've talked about, and I'm curious how you would answer this, is though we keep talking about us feeling a sense of belonging as a community, why is it so hard for us to have that actually actualized? Why is it hard to bring people to the table in these discussions?
One thing that I always feel very strongly is the faith that you have. Faith teaches us about love, about taking care of each other. If we have anchoring in faith, then we can certainly connect with each other. My skin color is different from Tanya's, right? Our skin color is about same. You are a little whiter than I am, right? But this skin color is the phenomenon or the outcome or the function of the environment in which we lived or grew up, or our forefathers did. But essentially, we are one people, right? If somebody is if a physician is dissecting a certain part in your body or my body, can't say there is Opara or Parmod, right? It's the same thing.
Right.
What separates us is our memory. You have a different set of memories, you have different set of identification, you have wife, you have children, and I have the same thing. So our memories are different, but if you take out those memories, then we are one. We are the same people. So if we can refocus on that reality, I think we can accomplish our goal and actualize what we talk. We provide lip services, but really, unless we have the actual realization of our identity as human being, we can't actualize it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I babbled a lot.
No, not at all. And thinking, you have such a beautiful way of the way you walk through the world. How do you keep that faith? I think during the COVID period, which was a really hard period in every community, ours no exception.
Right.
And when you're trying to take care of people and to help people be well, I know you got personally attacked quite a bit, that you really got sort of beat up and run over the coals a little bit, but you didn't lose faith, not just in your team, but also in this community. How did you do that? How did you never waver from that?
Yeah, so I'm always inspired by the mission that we have as a public servant and a public health professional. So that mission is there. We were in the crossfires all the time during pandemic, during COVID. State was saying something else, CDC was saying something else, then we were deciding something else. So there was so many miscommunication. But one thing was for sure, that we are doing everything, our level best, to protect the lives and well-being of our people here in this community. Based on science, based on data, we were making those decisions. People were calling names, leaving all kinds of stuff and sending letters, you know. But whenever I had, opportunity to talk to those folks, I would just say that, we do not have any vested interest to hurt our neighbors. I'm not trained to do public health to hurt somebody. I'm here to help protect your well-being, your life, and we saved a lot of, lives here in this community.
One of the big things that I hear you talking about is almost this value-driven way of entering into the world. We could call it even leadership, we can call it an approach towards humanity, but almost this center around love and kindness and hope for a better tomorrow. Right. There are a lot of the things that at times get in the way of that for people. What do you think prevents us all from entering every day with that type of mentality?
Because, we are self-centered, right? We think about ourselves first, And
our brains are kind of designed to do that a little bit, right? For survival mode.
Right, but not in every culture, though. The culture I come from really puts emphasis on the environment in which you live. Environment, it could be the trees, could be animals, could be humans.
An essence of unity, really.
Yeah, because we are all united.
Yes.
And if you break one thing, then it fractures, the unison or the unification of different, flora and fauna. And, since time immemorial, we have been fragmented, right? We have always fought and killed each other, and we are doing the same thing today, right? I mean, there is no stoppage. So even though we have evolved as human beings, we have created all this technology, right? That folks at home can see our conversation, we can call, anywhere, we can see people on our devices. We have made enormous, dramatic progress, technologically speaking, but we haven't stopped the viciousness in our midst, right? That we are killing each other.
Yeah. What's so interesting, Parmod, this just came up in a conversation with my almost 10-year-old last night. He wants to play the video game Fortnite. I don't know if you're familiar with Fortnite at all, but we don't allow that video game in our home right now. Not saying that as he ages or we evolved. A large reason was because the essence of the violence in the video game, and he was engaging in a debate with me about it. So I brought up an article, and actually the article, I never thought in this lens, but it made so much sense, wasn't even talking about it from the violent standpoint, but the essence of the game is that you want to eliminate everybody else. You want to be the last person standing. That to achieve, to excel, you need to do it in contrast versus in bringing people to the fold or coming together. And it's that kind of almost westernized mentality that I think you're talking about.
Right. There was a mystic in India who said this. I want you to pay attention to this. He says, you and I are not we. You and I are not we. You and I are one. Like I was just telling you that, if you take the memory out, we are all one. I have that orientation, really. Beautiful. And how to really inject in our kids, that kind of feeling that I'm the not last person standing, but we are all in it together. All the turmoils in the world that we are facing right now is because of that, our arrogance, our ego has, challenged our humanity sometimes, right? Just a minute ago, we were just talking about that, all these technological advancement, we can go to moon and, look at all these different stars and, the wonders of the world. But yet we have failed somehow, just recognizing our humanity. And if we don't, then we'll continue to have this problem. Saints and other good people, Gandhi, for example, MLK Jr., for example. I mean, they have given us that solid foundation on which to stand to protect the humanity, but we are still not there yet.
It's so interesting to hear you talk about humanity, because I think that part of what some of the work that we've been doing together and your team is looking at racism as a public health emergency,
Right.
which was really controversial in our community. I hate to bring up controversial topics, but this is another one that was really one that you felt compelled to really lead and to use a voice at a time when, well, I'm not gonna say it's definitely backtracking the momentum around trying to address racism and systems of oppression. And again, I think you grounded that we're human beings who have to care for each other. How does that strike you? Were you surprised at some of the pushback and some of the belief that this was not something we should be talking about as a community?
My foundation has always been in the science, in the data, and we make decisions based on that. We are not manufacturing anything. We have seen how racism or any kind of discrimination affects people, their health, their well-being. You know, just because they are different. You know, it could be, you know, people, disabled people, or people who are living in rural Iowa as well, you know, how their health is compromised because they may not have health care or transportation or good housing. Racism really is, we have to look at the history of this nation, great nation of ours, you know, with all its, you know, evolved or glorified history. There is, my daughters actually tell me that there is no parallel, in human history to racism, how some people have been discriminated against here, and you know, genocide of American Indians here as well, stolen this land that we are sitting here, stolen from them as well. So, you know, public health is the foundation of public health is social justice and equity. And we must fight for it at all cost to make sure that all residents, all neighbors have the equal opportunity, not only to health, but all things that we have to offer as a community. So based on that, you know, it was not difficult to convince to the Board of Health to declare racism as a public health crisis. And in light of that, we built an Office of Health Equity.
Yep.
We are working right now on strategic plan to make sure that we have a map where we are, where we want to go, and how to get there.
No easy process.
Yeah.
We want our audience, we want the listeners to walk away understanding context with a little bit more openness, but also with some hope. And you talked about the word faith. You know, I'll say the word hope. What does it mean to be a good neighbor? If we could all show up in this world being a little better neighbor, what would that mean, and how could that impact the whole?
Yeah, I mean, you know, just being joyous. Loving, caring, kind, you know, those are the words that I can think of. But, you know, the question is actualize. How would you actualize it? I mean, you learn all these words, but how would you actualize it? You can't actualize it until you see the unity in all living being, you know. Yeah. I struggle with that myself, you know, when I, you know, watch news, it becomes very difficult, right?
Yeah.
We have opportunity to provide messages to our community partners and let them know what we do as a partner in our community and how we can help each other. You know, people talk a lot about faith or hope, but having that anchoring is critical for our survival. Based on our religious scriptures, we talk about, you know, God and other things. Having that understanding that God stands for certain, you know, attributes, right? Yeah. God
represent certain characteristics.
Yeah. So love, kindness, joy, I mean, those taking care of each other, those are the things. It's very difficult. I mean, I can not really say how you can actualize it. Again, your word, I mean, that's really nice one. How can we actualize it?
Well, it really makes me think of an Opara. We talk about this a lot at Tanya, and I think you do such a great job sending this message with your career history of planting seeds. It's about the moments that we're given in life. It's about the influence we have. It's about planting seeds and knowing, maybe we don't see the fruition of that tomorrow or next year or the year after, but how do we actualize planting that seed? What does that look like? Does that look like smiling
and finding joy in that?
Yeah, bringing them something or asking them if they need something. And absolutely, Parmod, when you talk about that essence of joy, that when that unity needs to bring a sense of purpose, meaning joy.
Yeah, planting seeds. I mean, people like MLK Jr., for example, planted seed. Gandhi planted seed. Nelson Mandela planted seeds. There are so many, luminaries who have planted those seeds, and we have to, continue to do that as a citizen of this nation, this community. Giving the human values to our kids, growing kids, you're 10 years old. So I think that would be so critically important for our well-being and community's well-being.
I think one of the things I'm curious about too is I know how hard you work. I know what you do in the community. How do you center yourself every day? How do you center yourself to be ready to take on this work and to bring this sense of wellness to this community, or fight for the sense of wellness in this community?
So, I meditate twice a day. In the morning, when I launch myself in this world, so I just sit in my meditation room and meditate and plan my day, how it goes. So I have meetings and all that. So I really, in my mind, I already plan it, and I just, because this universe is amazing, right? It's incredible. What you give, you are going to get back. The Newton's law, right? When you hit the ball in the wall, it's coming right back to you. So if you emit love, affection, kindness, it's coming back to you. If you emit hatred, it's coming back to you. So I believe in that. And then in the evening, I also do another meditation where I reflect on my day. You learn through those, you have to also train your mind through the meditation too.
Yeah, we talked about it. I am not good at meditating. You are my inspiration. You mean starting the day with the news is not the way to start.
No,
Gotta change my routine. Gotta change my routine.
Yeah. In the morning, I don't watch news. In the evening, I do, take a look at what has gone on in the world.
And I'm sure even then in watching the news, there has to be some buffering of the soul and the heart and reminding yourself of this is what's portrayed, this is what's highlighted, this isn't the full story, this isn't the streams of goodness, this isn't that, in a lot of ways, when you talk about mindfulness and meditation, and it's about intentions, it's about choosing what we pay attention to, what we focus on, where we put our energy, and how we feel energy given back to us.
Right, exactly.
I think one question that's important to me is, what do you think is missing, or what can we do as a community to impact the wellness outcomes that we have? What can we do, not as just professionals, but what can we do in our community?
If you are talking specific health
just in general. I think we've talked about being a good neighbor, not just being a good professional, walking in and with hope and with faith. But
so all that plus working together as we do, taking note of the emerging health issues, being prepared for that, working with other stakeholders, and I would also suggest that we should continue to work with our elected officials to get resources. in this community we are lucky to have resources, but I think if we work together with everybody, there are cities, county, if we can work together to tackle some of these health issues, we should be much more effective in that way. Combining all these or pooling all these resources together would be an awesome work. Nationally, I'm active on policy level, which is awesome. I have been invited to the White House and talked to CDC, HHS folks and other national organizations, foundations. So that has been extremely valuable for us. Legislatively, we can influence some legislation here as well in our community. So working together would be awesome thing.
Right. Joint advocacy.
Yeah. I can't be advocate, but I can educate.
Yep.
Yeah. As a public servant.
Got it.
Yeah, the things that I hear you saying is collaborate, right? Use our voice, use our influence, use privilege. I have a lot of privilege.
Yeah.
And so using those things to make a difference, that we all have a piece to play, right?
See how nicely she put it together?
Absolutely.
Collaboration.
Absolutely. Collaboration. Right. That's the words of the day. Collaboration, actualization. Those two things. There we go.
Parmod, I just want to thank you so deeply for being here. Sure. I had no doubt, that this would be a segment that would make a big difference, but just your soul and your heart and the way that you enter the world, we're better off for it.
Yeah.
So
Thank you very much.
Stay tuned. Next time on Together We Rise.
And so those experiences kind of lay the groundwork for who we really become and how we engage with the world.
We may have all learned all of these things on how to regulate. I joke about, what's your 3 to 5 coping skills? We all have them. I mean, as adults, you can think to them, but my 3 to 5 do not work in every situation that may come up. And they certainly are not gonna work when my crisis mind is intact.
You are capable, and we can walk through this journey together.
Everyone walks in and is in some sort of crisis.
No matter the challenges you and your family face, Tanager is here for you. We'll meet you wherever you are in your journey and together define a path to reach your goals. Together we rise.
Thank you for joining us today and for spending time with us. We hope today's segment offered hope and inspiration. Today's series brought to you by Tanager and the Meraki Institute of Learning. For more information, please visit our website at www.tanagerplace.org.
Being a teenager is hard enough. Finding places to fit in, overcoming fears, and dealing with the stress of finding acceptance can be overwhelming. The LGBTQ Center at Tanager provides a safe and confidential environment for LGBTQ youth, families, and allies. Programs at the center are diverse and include support groups, mentoring programs, parent workshops, tutoring, and so much more. Meet new people and build a support network at the center. To learn more, visit tanagerplace.org. Tanager. Inspire, empower, heal.